Hi everybody, welcome to Good Dog Grooming. Today I'm talking about desensitization for dogs. So once again, please consider subscribing. My name is Colleen and this is Good Dog Grooming. Thanks for watching, guys. A quick note at the beginning about puppies. Puppies are notorious for, during nail dremeling, being kind of panicky, even yipping and kind of screaming, and I just want to encourage anybody that if they're experiencing that with their puppy, don't be discouraged, because this process will work and it is extremely common that they're having that reaction, but they're also extremely moldable. So don't worry and don't give up, because the young puppy phase is actually the easiest to desensitize them because of how moldable the dog is. But you can do this with a dog of any age. But I want to emphasize that this procedure, this framework that I'm going to lay out, can be applied to desensitization to anything that the dog is having trouble tolerating. So let's start with step one, which is to understand a panic scale for your dog. So this is something that I came up with in my mind. This is not out of some book. This is not professional training advice. This is just how I've always thought of it, and with my experience with dogs, what I've come up with, and it helps me to think about how to treat each individual dog. So let's talk about my panic scale. So basically, obviously this is down here. If your dog's emotion or panic state is down here, we can consider it super happy, super comfortable, happy-go-lucky, no problem. In here, maybe a little concerned. Getting up here, kind of pretty nervous, pretty anxious, very unsure. And if you've got a dog that's getting up into the red, then that is panicking, just bad, just high emotion, very difficult to deal with. So I want to start with a few examples of what will start carrying the dog up towards the red. Oftentimes, anything unknown or novel, person, place, smell, other dogs, noise. So the Dremel, obviously, right? Every dog has different triggers that are going to notch them up higher towards the red, towards the panic. And oftentimes, novel and unknown stimuli are one of those things. Another example would be a very nervous owner, because dogs are so tuned into their owners. So if the owner is nearby and particularly nervous, that's gonna raise the dog's panic level as well. Physical pain is a good example. Even the memory of a physical pain. So when a dog has previously been quicked, for example, they will remember that, and so anything that led up to that is gonna notch them up. So maybe the sight of the clippers, for example. So those are just examples. There's endless things that can make a dog, an individual dog, want to get this nervous. Let me give you a couple examples of what might help bring a dog back down the scale a bit. So treats is a really good example. Treats can work. It very much depends on the dog. So treats, it usually has to be high enough value to pull them from the thing that's notching them up. But treats can be very good. Even food, their own food especially, you can raise the value of a dog's food in a given moment by waiting until they're hungry. So some people do dremeling sessions right before the dog is served their dinner, and they can actually use the food pellets as the reward throughout the process to help bring them down the scale. And then after the process is completely done, they feed the rest of the dinner. And I've read a lot of accounts of success using that method. Again, with a nervous owner, bringing them up here, a calm owner can help bring them down. And oftentimes praise is enough to help calm a dog and bring them down. This very much depends on the dog. So I've had my dogs, for example, when I do dremeling sessions with them, or when I have done dremeling sessions with them in the past, I used praise because they were fairly responsive, but it had to be pretty over the top. So if I was doing one nail, then I would finish the nail, and then I would, oh my goodness, you did it, good doggy, oh, that was so good, blah, 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 blah. And they were just like, oh, And while that dremeling process was bringing them up here, the fact that all that praise was laid on so thick was really, they liked it. They just liked it. And so that can work. So I want you guys to consider this scale and understand how individual it is. Alright guys, so for this 2-step framework, I want to go over step 2 with you, which is basically to take whatever procedure you're trying to achieve with your dog, break it into baby steps. This is another thing that I'm not going to give you the step by step with dremeling, start here, move to this, move to this. This is so individual per dog. So just think about stretching the procedure. So there are some dogs that can't stand the sight of these tools. So you're going to have to start with bringing the tool a little closer to them. But whatever it may be, basically you need to find out what step the dog brings the dog up a little too high. So your general overall goal is to keep the dog in the bottom half of the orange, I would say, okay, during whatever it is you're doing, and get them lower and lower, and immediately after the thing that is making them nervous ends, get them down to green. Now if you can get them down to green during, great, but then I would say it's time to push them to the next baby step of the procedure, and that's going to bring them up again. But basically from about the middle down is going to be okay to work with, and you're always trying to pull them down, and from about the middle up is going to be doing more harm than good for the most part. Alright guys, so that is the long and short of it, okay? The understanding the panic scale, identifying what individual factors bring your dog up higher and what individual factors successfully bring your dog back down, and taking whatever procedure that you're trying to do and breaking it into small steps and finding out where your dog gets up to about here and stopping there in your baby step procedure to work with them and to teach them that everything's okay, whatever it takes to teach them that they made it through and they survived and nothing bad happened. We're not cutting off their toes, because that's what we have dogs that think we're amputating toes, and they act like they're taking my foot. I knew this was going to happen. Well, we've got to teach them that whatever's getting them up here, look, you still have your toe and everything's fine, and you got all these treats, and you got all this lovely praise, or whatever positive thing, even if it's distance. Look, I let go. That gets them back down, and every dog's going to take a different amount of time to slide back down that scale, but that is your individual mission in this case in order to desensitize your dog to a process. If you did like this video and you want to give me a thumbs up, then I will take the compliment, and I hope you will consider subscribing, so I've got more good dog grooming videos to come. And my name is Colleen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.